Have you ever had your beliefs or the course of your life get shaken up, kind of not the way you expected it? I know I have, and I dare say my next guest has as well, because her memoir is being turned into a movie called Surprise by Oxford. Please welcome Dr. Carolyn Weber to the Sami Cone Show. Can I call you Caro? I feel like I should call you Caro now.
Of course, of course. That's wonderful. That would be a delight.
Oh, well, I just finished screening the film. It was beautiful. I mean, it was as thought-provoking as it was beautiful to me. It just was a lovely piece. But can you tell me what it was like to write these words must have been such a life-changing experience, and now to see them come to life on screen, what has that been like for you?
Wow, quite surreal, really. And the screenplay writer, Ryan Whitaker, did a beautiful job making the story accessible for film, and the team did a lovely job with the cinematography. But it is a much longer story in many ways, but the way they adapted it was beautiful. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things I noticed is that books play such a large part of your story, from education through your profession. Can you talk a little bit more of the intersection of faith and literature, especially that you've experienced as a woman?
Well, I really loved books growing up. In some ways, it was a form of escape for me. I had a complicated childhood, as many of us do. But I had also opened a world of ideas, thinking, and that sort of thing. I didn't grow up with a faith, Sami, so I thought that intellectualism and ideas were antithetical to faith. But what I found as I was more introduced to the Christian faith and other Christians was that there was a rich history of thinking and ideas. And so that's where I love the intersection. All stories lead to the wisdom and amazing glory of God. I haven't read a story that hasn't.
That's so beautiful. And the way that you came to your faith, I similarly didn't grow up in the church. Grew up in a mixed. My mom was British, actually. My father was Jewish. And so, those conversations can be challenging, intriguing, and, especially with our children, our teens, our young adults. I feel like this film is a really good conduit for having some of those difficult conversations. Do you think so? And how would you suggest, embarking on some of those?
Well, I'm so glad. I hope so, because that's my world. I really have a foot in each, and with dear friends and family that don't know the Christian faith and those that do. And so it was a topic very close to my heart. But I was hoping that the film would ask questions, would just welcome people to the table to be able to ask the questions that really matter, the big questions in our lives. And I was hoping to do that in the book, as well as looking at what it's like after you give your life to Christ, and how it is to operate in that world with those who have that understanding and those who don't, and how we can find our way through that. So I'm hoping that the film just gently invites people to those things through.
I love listening to you speak. I love reading your words. Like, I just love your. I could listen to you all day. And one of the things too is that there's this.
My students would probably beg to differ.
I feel you.
My husband.
I'm a professor. Well, speaking of your husband, there's this love story that's interwoven through the film that I didn't expect. And I know you say movies don't always depict reality completely, but what I noticed was there was this pursuit of your now husband, of you. Any ties to not only the pursuit of God after our own hearts, but what was that moment for you when you went from like pushing to receiving that love?
Well, we had been friends for a long time, and what the film doesn't show that I reveal in the book is I was actually engaged to someone else prior to that, when I was not a Christian, and having to navigate that breakup when I did decide to embrace the faith. So we had been friends for quite some time, and I just really appreciated how he walked his talk, that he answered questions, but he also didn't answer questions. He respected mystery in that as well, and that our God is not the type of God that can just fit into a box, right? That there's so much more to him, and that actually is even a more compelling argument. So we were able to have a long friendship in which we had actually many other things that happened before we were more romantically involved, and I'm really grateful for that path.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We have to wrap up, but before I let you go, my friend Annie Downs made a cameo in the film that I saw, and she said to make sure to ask you about your own scenes and why was that so memorable or remarkable for you to be in the film?
Well, Annie did a beautiful job. It was a bit of an inside joke between Ryan and I, but it was actually, I'm the professor delivering the lines from a C.S. Lewis Society that were the same lines spoken in the same room. About, oh gosh, probably 25, 30 years beforehand, when I was considering the faith and visiting it as a student myself. And I remember those lines lodging with me and rolling them over as I walked home in the evening on the cobblestone streets. And so it was really a circle of grace to be back in that same room and delivering those same lines.
Wow. Well, it's been a joy having you. I wish we could go on longer. We need to wrap up, but I want to make sure that everyone catches Surprised by Oxford. It's a 2-night release, September 27th and October 1st in theaters. You can go to surprisedbyoxford.movie. Carolyn, thank you so much. Caro, thank you for joining us on the Sami Cone Show today.
Thank you, Sami, so much. I appreciate it. God bless you.
God bless you.